Hare Krishna, all our viewers. Thank you for joining in. And this is, I believe, the sixth episode of Svabhava, Vichar. And you must be surprised that you are missing your regular host, Sulakshana. And what am I doing here? So today is the episode of parenting, but it is episode related to fathers. So I took this opportunity to host this episode today and welcome you all, so that because fathers also play a very important role in parenting, and definitely we'll be going through all the types of father as we'll be discussing. So all the fathers, please sit back, relax, and fasten your seat belts so that we can know about ourselves. And also request all the fathers to please see through this video to better understand yourself and your child, and also request all the mothers to watch this video so that you can understand the fathers also in a better way, right? So I would like to welcome our very own Shri Radha Govind Dasi and Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for joining in, and Mataji will be taking all of us through this video. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Radha Govind Mataji. Over to you, please. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Baliyagya Prabhu. And thank you to all the viewers who've been sending positive feedback and questions. So to begin with, I wanted to share one important principle, that understanding Enneagram types, yourself or your spouse and the child, it's not really on the deep level of your swarupa or even character. It's not. It's mostly on the level of values. Depending on your personality type, you have a certain value. Like Bali Yagya Prabhu and Sulakshana Devi and Dia, I visited them in Abu Dhabi, and they have this value of giving. For instance, what I've observed is Bali Yagya Prabhu has this value of being of service. It's very important for you. Am I right, Prabhu?
Trying to do, Mataji.
Yeah. So, that value, if one member of the family has a specific value, especially the father, right? Then it gets on to the whole family, and then you can actually see that value in the overall family picture. So I just wanted to clarify that it's not on the character level what we're discussing, it's mostly on the values level. Because one thing is skills, which is on the top, then we have the values, and then we have the character. So when we speak about Enneagrams, don't think that that's your character. It's just the values. It's just the kind of middle thing. Okay, so last time we discussed Enneagram moms, and today we're discussing Enneagram dads, but just I want to show you that graph again just to clarify that point. So what kind of a dad are you is the B, the values, the beliefs and attitudes. And then as a result of what kind of a dad you are, you do certain things, right? There are certain actions that you take. And then you will naturally have a particular family, you have a particular experience of family. So as in we discussed about Enneagram moms, it's very helpful for you dads to also watch the Enneagram moms, so you know what kind your wife is. And yeah, these moms can be very different. There's not like, we can't stereotype and say this is a typical mom. Similarly, we cannot stereotype and say this is a typical dad. This natures, right? So today we will go deep into, and also masculine and feminine energy works differently. Even though like type 1, right? The mom is the idealistic mom. But type 1 dad has slightly different way and different dynamics of working. So that's why we're doing a separate video for dads. Okay, so this is very important to keep in our mind today. There's the anger, there's the fear, and there's image. These are the three issues that we can have, and especially for men, it's pronounced much, much more. Because women, we're more a reflection of moon energy, so it's more internal for us. But for dads, you'll see it. You'll see how the guys are. If he's an angry type, everyone in the community knows this man has anger issues, right? And if the dad is more the image kind, everybody knows, oh, he wants to do good, he wants to be good. And then the fear also, everybody knows, oh, this Prabhu is a little bit cautious type, he's like more afraid type. It's very pronounced, it's seen very much external. And Prabhu, please add in whenever you have anything to say.
So, Mataji, when you say it's very visible, so are we saying that the Prabhus are more expressive than the Matajis, or in like they can show their behavior very explicitly?
No, actually, it's the opposite. Women are more expressive in that sense. But men, just the nature of masculine energy is compared with the sun's energy. And you see, the sun is constant, reliable. Every single day, he's of the same shape, same form. He rises exactly in time, very reliable, right? So similarly, the energy of men is much more visible just because of their presence. And it's that consistency, reliability. That's why the man at home, they say, is a foundation, because he is the stone which holds everything together. The woman is like the moon. See, usually women, we're very moody, right? Just like the moon.
Yeah.
We never see full moon all the time, right? We always see different shapes and different forms of moon. Moon is very unpredictable. So are women, unpredictable.
Yeah, that's correct. All fathers will vouch for that, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a man, the whole idea, the dynamic of the masculine energy is, in fact, although sun is round and all that, but in Vedic astrology, Parashara says that sun is actually square. I know, right? That's interesting. Square means, again, reliable, consistent, constant. And father figures are like that. So it's just the presence of the man. He doesn't need to say much, he doesn't need to do much. But just like I said, your value in your family is seen through the activities of your family. Because the father, either if the father is like a aggressive or assertive type, then you'll see that in the whole family. But the mother is the one who's keeping everything together. She's flexible, she's adaptable, just like the moon. So that's why the man, it's much more seen, pronounced externally. It's like the sun, you will see. You don't have to even look at the sun, you just have the light. So man is like that. You just have him around and you know whether he's afraid, whether he's angry, or he's concerned about image.
Yeah.
They don't
Correct.
need to speak much. And in fact, usually men don't speak much. It's women who speak more.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's how I experienced also in many of the families, even devotee families also. The Prabhujis are a bit like kind of reserved and kind of more silent, not very talkative.
Yeah, but still their values will be seen in the family dynamics. It's a very subtle thing. You see, it's very subtle too. But you'll observe it. You'll see which family values what. You'll see it because of the father.
That's good. So that's a plus point on fathers.
True. It's true. So all the fathers need to sometimes do is just work on yourself, be confident, be reliable, be consistent. And that's all. It's not very complicated job, but it's the son's job. So it's intense. It burns. Because it's responsibility, right? People rely on you like we rely on sun. People rely on the masculine energy, because masculine energy is what takes everything, how do you say, gets everything done.
Okay. Yeah.
You may see all these arrows here. We'll discuss that later as we go further, but today we're focusing mainly on the 3 sections, and we will describe each dads which section they belong to. So there's a section of the dads who are anger based. Those who have anger as their main issue, right? Usually, see, men are known to become more angry than women. That's their way, right? That's their way of. Women, we talk. That's our way of expressing. For men, usually is like they get upset or they get angry. The anger, it's shown in different ways, 3 different ways at least. This one, fear of neglect. So this 8s, 9s, and 1s, the type of this type, they have that fear of neglect. They don't like to be neglected. If as a father or as a husband, they say something to the wife or the child, they are neglected, they get really angry, you know, because it's the gut center, you know, that's instinct based. So they want to be respected. See, they want to be respected as the head, and you'll see that in many families. Then we have the need for affirmation. Type 2s, 3s, and 4s, we are more heart types. They are more heart based, not gut. It's not instinct based. It's emotion based. It's feeling based. It's all about how you feel, what you feel to do for your family. That's more the prominence. And they like to be told, "Thank you, Dad," or "Thank you, my dear husband. You're a nice person. You do things with so much heart." Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So I believe my type is 2, right? So I'll be falling in this category.
Yes, Prabhu. And usually type 2, 3, and 4 are somewhat misunderstood because, you know, men, they're supposed to be very strong, and they're supposed to be the one who's giving, and they don't need to be told they're doing well. That's like the usual stereotypical expectation of a dad. But the type 2 and 3 and 4, they have the need to be you know, given affirmation, validation, and to say that you're a good dad, you're a good husband. They need to hear that. And usually people misunderstand. They think, no, you're the dad, you're giving, giving, giving. You're a giver. And then people get accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's not much you get to hear. Thank you. Or, you know, so it's important for 2s, 3s, and 4s to share that with their family and say, it's true, I'm always giving. It's true, I'm always like a heart person, but I also sometimes need to be, you know, validated for what I'm doing. Because when we don't do that, the type 2 and 3 and 4, they become very manipulative if we don't receive enough validation. That's the challenge there. Then we have type 5, 6, and 7, which falls under the category of the head. They're more like mental type of people. The heart people are more sentimental, and then the head type are more mental. And for them, they need reassurance. They need to be said, everything is going to be okay. You're doing okay. You know, everything is all right. They need to be affirmed in that way. So this is the 3 things. And what we will do is we'll go over the type 1. We will segregate and show how type 8, 9, and 1, they belong in the gut category.
Okay.
For them, it's important for them to, especially the anger, right? It's important for them to process their need so that they don't become angry. See, most of the times for men, most of the anger is not actually coming from the family. As a man, you're dealing with outside world and you have so many things going on for you. You have your own internal ambitions and goals and plans of who you want to be, how you want to feel. And then when you don't feel that, a little trigger at home, right? A little trigger. The child says like, oh, I expected a better cycle for my birthday than the one you got for me. And that's it. The father completely loses it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the family needs to understand it's not the kid or the wife that triggers the man. The man has to deal, again, they see the square, the sun energy. He has to burn a lot to give light. Sun has to burn in order to give light. So he's already under so much pressure from the world, from his own inner needs, inner expectations. And then externally this can happen. So it's actually very, very important to understand the men in our house, so we can actually help them to reduce those triggers, you know.
So this video looks like more for women, Mataji, because they need to also understand these lines.
It's true. It's true. I mean, even personally for me, when I understood my husband's type, my husband is a type 8. and they are the most intense of all the types. Initially, I used to take it very personally because my type is I'm a type 2, so I'm like the nice one, and the emotional one, and my husband is not like that at all. He's very straightforward. So when I understood Enneagram type, it immensely helped me to understand him, understand where
Mhm.
he's coming from, what is his strength and what is his challenge. And then I
Yeah.
was able to help, and then slowly get him also into Enneagrams, and he understood it, and it changed our relationship because we understood each other but much better, and we didn't take it personally. Because usually we think, why is she not reacting like I would? Why is he not doing what I would do? Right? That's how we think usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. And I think I heard your statement also in the episode 4, where you are saying that it's not one personality is better than other one. It's all are having their equal unique positions, and yeah, that's a good thing. So it's not that we should undermine any other personality type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That's very tamoguna way of saying my type is better than your type. That's like, but, I mean, that's true on a philosophical level, sattva guna level, but let's also be very realistic.
Yeah.
Every type does think that our type is the best. It's just the truth.
Right.
Like, like type 2, okay? Although like we are the very like sweet and giving type, we don't want to be any other type because we think that being a giver, being understanding, being helpful, those are the values we think is the most important, right? So as a type 2, we will think type 2 is the best, and type 1, they will think, no, the values of perfectionism, the values of doing things right, that's most important, and therefore type 1 is better.
Right.
They'll be there naturally, but regardless of what type, we have to be the healthy of that type.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we have the type 2, 3, and the 4. Again, the heart center. It's more based on being good, doing good, being in touch with emotions and feelings. Doesn't mean threes are in touch with emotions, however. This is just the category. We'll see that when we go individually. And then we have the type 7 and 6 and 5, which is more like the head types. They are like,
Hmm.
I tell you, these are very interesting characters, the 5, 6, and 7s, especially as dads. And type 7 dads are the most cool dads, they're like super fun and adventurous. Yeah. Okay. We'll get Prabhu. Anything you want to comment about?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, when as we are discussing, I can now relate to all the personalities which I've been meeting. So after this understanding, it will be better to like categorize. I mean, not to put in one particular bucket and see in a very manipulative way, but yeah, just to understand the personality type and grow together in Krishna consciousness. That would be really helpful. Yeah.
It's true. Actually, that's a very good point. Not only within our own families, but we can also help our family friends.
Yeah.
When we see, oh, my friend, he's a type 5, and that's why he's always like inside his own head. And it's this person, how to help them? I need to help them to connect with their gut and instinct, which is their healthy side. So we can help them move to become more assertive, to take a stand. But
That's
somebody who's a type 6, they're very very cautious. They don't need to be assertive, they need to be peaceful. So if you know your friends, you can help them, and it may be one thing that could change their family dynamics.
yeah, that's correct. No, sometimes we are hearing different preachers also, and we try to make judgment that why this preacher is in doing in that way. So because we can relate this to Enneagram types, and we can see we can understand the personality rather than judging and making an impression about that person.
Exactly, thank you. Yeah, we usually think I have a certain value, and then I may listen to some preacher and say, but why does he not emphasize on that value that is important for me?
Yeah.
But because they have their purpose in life, we all have our purposes in life. We have to act according to our purpose. So this graph here is super important to understand. This applies to dads, moms, children, everybody, all humans. The type 1, 2, and 6, as you can see that little triangle formed there in the blue line.
Yeah.
These are the compliant types. Somewhat you can say dependent on others, or they're not like aggressive or assertive. They're more compliant. We go along. That's the nature of 1, 2, and 6. You can immediately, when you see a person, you can categorize them with this particular thing. Are they more like dependent and compliant? Then you know there must be 1, 2, or 6. And then the 3, 7, and 8. These are the aggressive types. Usually they're very loud. They're very clear about what they want, what they like, what they don't like, and they're assertive. They know how to assert themselves, get their way.
Yeah.
When you see the type, oh, this must be the assertive type. And then we have 4, 5, and 9, which is the withdrawing type. They are very introverted, withdrawn, kind of quiet, don't really get involved in the social things. That's.
Yeah. It's really fun to see this chart, and I can see we all fall in different triangles in our family.
Yes.
So that's really interesting to see all the colors are there in our family.
Yeah, that's the interesting part we're getting to today, about when the child is a type 1. Okay, let's say it values responsibility and very much focused on getting things done properly. And the father is the type 3, which is a completely the assertive, aggressive. I put purposefully the type 3 in a bigger size because if this is the family, type 3 would be the loud one. Meaning the father figure will be the boss. Okay, the one who, whatever the father says is what will be strong, because he's the assertive type. And then will be the next importance will be the child, the type 1, which is kind of compliant, dependent, goes along. And type 9, being withdrawn, will be quiet. That's why I put it very small there.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it depends very much on the family dynamics, who is what. As you said, the colors and the lines. It impacts.
So now I know who is the aggressive part, and we all follow the aggressive part.
Right, because they're usually the one who take charge. Yeah. Okay, we'll quickly go through this. Prabhu, if you're able to read it, I think the white is a little too. If you could read it.
You want me to read the strength part?
Yeah. So this is type 1.
So that's type 1. Strength is
creating boundaries.
Okay. Yeah, I can see now. Creating boundaries encourages the best for kids, teaching kids what is right and wrong. And encourages are, you want me to read the encourages also? The encourages are responsibilities, good manners, honesty, and good deeds. So that's a virtuous dad.
Yeah. See, they want to get things done in the proper way. And they should be mindful to teach kids but not preach to them. That's the hard thing for them.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think, Baliyagya Prabhu, you might have one wing. Meaning we are not just one type. We usually take on the next to it type also.
Yeah.
You also have this side to you. Do things Dharma. Actually, in fact, by the way, for our audience information, this channel is called Dharma Ashraya. So that confirms that probably Prabhu also has this type 1 personality. It's all about Dharma, to do it right. Yeah.
Actually, I was about to ask you a question, because we can have certainly sometimes mixed personalities also, not only one. So we may have some traits of other personalities, even little bit aggressive from other from other triangle also. So it can be a blend, right? That's correct in understanding.
Definitely. We will discuss that. In the end, I have some slides to show the mixtures as well. But maybe
Okay.
we'll do it in another session. I mean, they give here for fun TV comparison. Ned Stark, Game of Thrones is the type 1 dad. So in their sattva guna, they're calm, they're trustworthy, they're principled. And then in Rajoguna, they become very critical. And then in Tamoguna, they become so bad and destructive. They just think everybody's bad. That's like Tamoguna dad in type 1 dad. Actually, I know a father um, is a type 1, very critical of all the friends of the child, of the wife, doesn't have any friends, is always critical about everybody, and nobody likes this person. Wherever they go, they mess up things, mess up
Mm,
relationships, because they become too critical. You see, the same things can become very rajasic and tamasic. They become
yeah.
so preachy. They think I know everything and nobody else knows anything. They can become like that.
Yeah. Correct.
Type 2. I like to be appreciated. That's the internal dialogue, obviously. We don't just go around saying that, but it's the internal.
But as you said, Mataji, in the last, like you said that, we need to let your people know that I need to be appreciated. Sometimes that is also there. So sometimes, people take it in a wrong way that, he's asking for appreciation, or he's asking for, he's a proudy person, or, he's filled with pride. So how to deal with that part when
Oh,
we,
really? You thought they'll think it's proud? I thought it's the opposite. Because if we, like, the close friends that I have, whenever I talk to them, I express to them, like, hey, I want you to be proud of me. I say that, right? Actually, it's humble, it's humbling, it's vulnerability. When I go and share it with somebody that, you know what, I want to be appreciated by you. I want you to say that, I want you to tell me what you like about me. That's actually opposite of pride. It's
yeah,
vulnerability. And it's very difficult for type 2 to do that, because we want to be encouraging others. We want to be there for others. We want to glorify others. And when somebody glorifies us, we actually go into a shock mood. No, 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 no. It's not like that, we say. But deep inside, we have that need.
yeah,
So it takes vulnerability. It takes us to become humble to receive appreciation. Prabhu, most of the time, most of us in all these types, all the types, we are not even aware what is our need. And we usually kind of mess things up, or we confuse things. And instead of saying, I want to be appreciated, we become very manipulative or something like that. I mean, this type. Every type has our own weak points,
yeah, that's correct.
but it's difficult to know what is our need. That's why the type Enneagram helps. When you study your type, that makes sense. I like to
Yeah,
be
correct.
appreciated. It's true. And then when you accept it, life becomes easy. It becomes simple.
So it's like somebody showing us the mirror that this is what your needs are.
Yes. So would you like to read the strengths and
Yeah, I'll read it again. So for type 2, the strengths are listening to their kids, putting their kids' needs first, playing with their kids, and encourages generosity, nurturing, talking through problems, and valuing others.
when the child doesn't do these things, if your child is not generous, is not nurturing, is not talking about the problems, is not valuing others, type 2 parents become very upset. They're
Mhm.
like, why my child is selfish? Why my child is not giving? Why my child doesn't open up? We become upset because it's natural, right? Because you encourage these qualities, and when you don't see that in your kid, you think there's something wrong with your kid, but there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with the kid.
correct.
Just a different type, maybe.
Yeah, that's really enlightening, actually.
Yeah. So they have to be mindful that you don't have to be in constant contact with your kids. You don't have to be on their case all the time. You don't have to always encourage them, always, because you're naturally going to be there. You don't have to overdo it. So in Sattva Guna, they are empathetic, affectionate, and caring. And in Rajoguna, they become caretaking, doing things that the kids can do for themselves. They're not making them too dependent. And then in Tamaguna, they can become very manipulative, and it becomes all about them and not about children. It's more about how much I'm doing as a parent. Usually type 2 dads are the most misunderstood dads in one sense. That person. Anyway, this is type 2. Type 3, these are the assertive ones, remember? I find it hard to rest because these are the ones who are always busy, always running around.
Yeah, they are the achiever types, huh? Type 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so type 3 strengths are they're helping their kids reach their dreams, achieving goals, multitasking. And type 3 encourages hard work, organization, achievement, supporting others. It's an encouraging dad.
It's hard to be around type 3s because they're giving, they're very much encouraging, but they can be very intense. Like I said, type 3 dad could also have a type 2 wing. So there may be a dad who's also that. Or he may have a type 4 wing, which is like creativity and all that. Then we have what they have to be mindful of. To focus on relaxing and just being with the kids. You don't have to always buy things for them, go to take them to the beach. You don't have to do. Sometimes all you need to do is just stay next to your kids. And it's very difficult for type 3 to do that. Because you see, they're very competitive by nature, right? So if their kid is not doing very well at school, they're always thinking, how can I help the child so they can also become competitive? And then they become very goal oriented. Type 3 and type 1, sometimes there's a lot of conflict. If the dad is type 3 and the child is type 1, the type 1 will feel, why my dad is always showing off?
Yeah, that happens sometimes, correct.
Yeah, the kid is like, I want to learn this. What's the point if I don't get the top score? It's not the point. But the type 3 dad or mom, both, they're like, I want my kid to be the best. I want my kid to be competitive.
Yeah, I've seen in many parents, correct.
It's very unhealthy for the child because the child does not need that. Maybe the child is type 1. So you need to encourage the child to do the right things, to find peace with themselves, not competitive. Otherwise, there'll be huge conflict between, in a family, if there is type 1 and type 3, definitely there'll be some conflict.
Yeah.
Because type 3 is all about show and image of being successful, strong, like, and type 1 is not into showing off.
So this type 3, like, they want their, they want the showcasing of their kid also with their strengths.
Yeah. Usually in Rajaguna, the type 3 dads or moms, they tend to be proud about what the kids do and not for who the kids are.
Yeah.
They don't value the children for who they are. They are more about, oh, my child achieved this, and achieved that, and he can do this, she got first prize here. So they become very much focused on what the kids can do instead of the
What they
value
are.
factor of
Yeah.
the child.
Correct.
And then in type 3, Tamaguna type 3 can become very like lying. They may tell the world, my son is good at this, but actually the son may not be good at that.
Yeah.
So, and then the child becomes very insecure because it knows my father is not proud about me, and my father is ashamed of me, or my mother is ashamed of me. Especially if a man is 3, it's again, the energy is much more intense. It's felt more. If we had a father who's a type 3, we always felt that my father is embarrassed about me. because we hide. We try to hide the reality of the child, and we may want to show to the world, my kid is good at this and good at that, and the child feels like, oh, my father's not proud about me, he's just proud about my achievements.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's very, very, very detrimental for the child's advancement in life. The child always will remain with that low self-esteem, and they will always think, I need to achieve something to be a worthy person.
Yeah, that's correct. I think I'll just share one incident. Yesterday, we have been here to an ice skating. So there was one father, and a father or teacher, I'm not sure, who was teaching the young daughter, to how to do ice skating. And we were sitting in the audience, and I was watching that little girl. She was about, like, 7, 8 years old, not more than that. And she was doing very nice, as professionally they do on the TV screen. That she was doing very nice ice skating, and she was revolving also. So I was very happy seeing her. But the teacher or the father, he was not happy, and he was, trying, showing the expression that, you can do better. Why you're doing like this? I've told you many times. So he was like that. So it takes it puts so much pressure on the child sometimes, of pushing and pushing the child to perform.
Yeah, it's a good point you brought up, that not only parents, also as teachers or preachers or
Yeah,
as a friend, you being your type and being a healthy version of ourselves helps so much. Because if we are type 3 and we are in passion, then people feel, oh, they only want my achievement, he doesn't want me, he doesn't want my friendship.
yeah, very.
Or even as teachers, if we think every kid should be competitive, you're completely wrong, because every kid has its own purpose.
Yeah, that's correct.
And because type 3 is assertive, and that's why they're competitive, they can be very pushy. They may tell the wife, hey, dress like this, and they may tell people, oh, my wife is like this and my wife is like that. And the wife also feels like, my husband is not really proud about me. He just wants me to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
This happen all the time.
Yeah. So they
And
need to relax.
they're not aware. So type
Yeah.
3 needs to learn to chill, go deep, connect inside. It's not about, the animal comparison. There's an animal comparison for every type. Type 1 is an ant, type 2 is
Oh,
a dog, and type 3 is a peacock. Because it's all about feathers. There's not so much substance. It's all about the.
yeah, that's correct.
And type 2 is the dog because it's loyal, it wants to serve. Type 1 is the ant because ant is always working hard.
Oh, that's good. That's right. Good analogy to remember, actually.
Yeah. So type 3 has to be very careful about superficiality, about showing off. They have to be careful. In Sattva Guna, they can be very helpful and do nice things for Krishna, for the family.
Yeah.
Type 4, these are the also difficult dads to understand. Type 4 is I prefer one-on-one time with kids. They are
Mm-hmm.
the individualists. They're not into the show-off thing. You see, they are not. They're more about deeper things. Would you like to read, Prabhu?
Yeah. So type 4 strengths are showing love, embracing tenderness, creative play. And type 4 encourages sentimentality, all alternative thinking, caring for others, and individualism. Yeah, the creative dads.
Yeah, creative dads. I know a couple of dads who are type 4. So they should be careful to still care for your kids' emotions when you're feeling down. I know a parent who's type 4. Whenever the parent feels emotionally very stuck, they just don't care how the kids are feeling. They just go into their own emotions, and
Yeah.
it's important. And then the opposite is also, there's a parent who had the child had some difficulty, something happened, and the child is a type 8, and type 8 don't feel as affected as type 4s. So the child was like, yeah, that happened, but it's okay. But the parent was feeling so depressed and sad because they are type 4. So they were projecting and they were saying, oh, my child must be feeling depressed and she must be feeling really upset and she must be feeling very, very low and down. And then I explained, no, those are your feelings. Your child is not feeling those things.
Yeah, that's correct.
The type 4s can project their emotions and their emotions become so important.
Mm-hmm. More than the child.
Yeah. Type 5, the investigator. I take my time researching solutions to my problems. You know, we have all these type 5 dads, so many of them.
Yeah, so they are the examining dads with the strengths, finding solutions to the problem, embracing kids' interests, explaining what is
Esoteric.
that? Esoteric, yeah, explaining esoteric concepts to kids, and they encourages curiosity, knowledge, questioning, and research.
Yeah. You know, these are the type of dads who know everything about everything. You know,
Yeah, I know everything types.
you can think of them, right? A lot of information. They are the dads who come to your class and ask a million questions, right?
Yeah. Yes. I have a couple of experiences like this. These dads.
Curiosity. They're very curious. They want knowledge. They question a
Yeah.
lot. And then they're never satisfied with any of the answers. They're like, yeah, but the other Maharaj said like this, but there's another thing. You see, the 5 can always be very indecisive because they want all the information, but you can
Yeah,
never get all the information.
that's correct. Yeah.
And that's why they need to be there for the kids' emotional needs. So they have to be mindful to not withdraw from kids' emotional needs. Because type 5 is withdrawn type, so they tend to go into knowledge. They're not present for the children. They're more like,
Okay.
no, but you know, parenting, what about this thing and what about the other thing and then this thing and then that thing, and they get everywhere and they don't want to execute what is needed for the child. So that's
Okay.
their challenge. But the good thing about them is uh, they are not sentimental. But the negative thing is they can be very mental.
He can be
And
very what?
mental.
Mental.
Think,
Okay. Yeah.
worry, think, not make a decision, be indecisive.
Okay.
So they need to learn to become more like 8s. They need to take a firm decision, stick to it, be assertive. That's
Okay.
their growth.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that first picture we saw, there was all these there were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these arrows.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
5 should go to 8. They should
Okay.
learn qualities of an 8, and they should not go to 7, because type 7 can become like fun loving and they just become careless, not take responsibility, not make a decision. So it's unhealthy for them. But they should be more like 8s.
Okay. So they can acquire the qualities of different personality types, based on this
Yeah.
understandings.
I mean, today we're not going deep into it. Like, for example, type 2 should not
Mhm.
become like 8. Type
Okay.
2, that's unhealthy for them. When we become very angry, then we become like 8s, type 2s.
Okay.
But type 2s, we should learn to be more like 4s. We need to connect with our emotions. Because type 2s are so busy saving the world that we're not thinking about our own needs.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we need to get in touch with our emotions. That's our growth and progress.
Okay.
And then type 1, they should learn to go to 7. They have to be like 7, because type 1s are so critical, everything perfection, get it right. So they need to learn to have fun. They need to like chill, relax. That's what type 1 needs to do. And type 3, they should learn to be more like 6, which we are going to discuss now. So type 6, they are like, I am trying to let go. These are the loyalists. And they're very
Yeah.
security oriented. They're very much focused on security.
Okay. So we have type 6, the loyalist. Their strengths are supporting your kid, loyally protecting kids, and naturally funny. And they encourages responsibility, compassion, courage, and humor. They are the constant dad. Huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
very reliable. And they should be mindful to allow kids to learn trust through independence, because type 6 are very cautious, very, no, don't go there, don't do that, don't, they a little bit hold them back sometimes. So they need to let the kids have their own journey, go walk, learn their own lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So in the best sattva guna, they are nurturing, dutiful, dependable. In rajaguna, they become very argumentative. They become like, no, but you shouldn't do this because of this and this. 6 can fight. They're compliant. Usually they're not assertive and they're not withdrawn. They're compliant, they're dependable, and they're dependent types. And in tamoguna, they can become very so scared of everything and everybody that they isolate themselves and their family. They don't want their wives and children to have friends. They don't have friends. Don't trust anybody. Don't listen to this Maharaj. Don't listen to that person. Like they become very,
Yeah, kind of over possessive and hyper possessive like that.
yeah, like phobias. They have a lot of phobia.
Okay.
In Sattvaguna, they're nurturing, dutiful, dependable, and they need to, type 6, they need to learn to go to 9, means they need to learn the qualities of a 9, which we will discuss. And they should not go to 3. Type 3 is the unhealthy thing for 6. I, I've seen so many parents who are type 6 who become like 3. Achievement, push their child, security, to be, in order to, for my child to have a secure future, I should push my child to get good scores. I should push my child to go and do mridanga and kartals and learn singing and do the this and do that. They become so worried because type 6 is a head, in that
Yeah.
circle. Right? The head type means they worry a lot. So when they become very worried and stressed, they become like 3s. They become
Mm-hmm.
competitive, which is not good for them. And they should go to 9, which means peaceful, calm. They need to learn to withdraw. See, that's why I really like Enneagram. It's very, see, it shows our evolution. It's not like many other personality type things. This is what you are, and then you're boxed in it, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, there is layers and levels of a 6. Somebody could be a very, very healthy 6, and they can be like such a shiny personality.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, for example, I'm thinking of Giriraj Maharaj. He's a type 6. He's excellent. Perhaps even Gopal Krishna Maharaj actually is like a perfect example of the perfect 6. Actually, yes. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is also type 6. Very loyal, very faithful, very dependable, very nurturing. See all those qualities of, and
Yeah.
they are working on letting go, detach. They're very capable. Also, yeah, there's so many leaders I'm thinking of. They're type 6, and that's there. But then there are also type 6 who are very unhealthy, right? They become all fearful and scared, and
Yeah.
you have to see which enneagram, which level you are at.
Yeah. So there in every type we have a healthy type also. Like being in Satoguna type 6 is, all the types being in Satoguna are good to go.
Exactly. So it's better to be sattva anything than to be tamoguna any type.
Yeah, that's good.
So this is type 7, the enthusiast. They're enthusiastic about everything initially. It's hard for me to take time to just be, because they're very busy having fun.
Okay, so we have the enthusiastic type dad, and they are called spontaneous dad, having the strengths of enthusiastic, planning the best adventures, relating to kids, and they encourages spontaneity, a good time, risk taking, and socializing.
Yeah, they're very good at that.
Okay, interesting facts.
They have to be mindful to be available to kids between adventures.
That's correct.
Because they may be so absorbed in the,
Yeah,
like,
they will be absorbed in all adventure, forgetting the kid behind.
yeah. And for the 7, they should not become like 1. Means they shouldn't think, oh, how to get my kids to do things perfectly. That's unhealthy. But they need to learn to be like 5. Think before you speak. Think before you jump into adventures. Think before you want your kid to, whatever you say to your kid enthusiastically. Type
Yeah.
5, you see, type 5 are like knowledge gathering. They want to keep quiet, learn. So 7 dads need to learn to be like 5.
Okay.
So they can be, in Sattva Guna, they can be optimistic, fun loving, and generous. And in Rajaguna, again, they become so focused on their own fun. They're not present for the children. They don't think, they speak. They promise things they don't keep up to, or they talk too much and they don't really deliver any substance. And in Tamoguna, they become very irresponsible.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're all over the place. They never complete a service. No, they're not reliable. They're not dependable. Hey, Prabhu, that's a great project. That's great. Yeah, you can always count on me. I'm in. And then after that, you don't see the person anywhere.
Yeah. Correct. They're too spontaneous to take all the sevas, but don't perform anything. Yeah.
Rajoguna, Rajoguna. See, it helps, when we know this is my weakness, and we can share with the close people. Close people can help us. Well, next time, don't take up commitments. Wait.
Think about it. Yeah.
Right? Think about it. Don't just commit. Discuss with your family. Sleep on it for a week. And if you're still enthusiastic about it, then you can commit.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, this understanding these types are, we have to look in a very positive way for improving ourselves. It's
Yeah,
not that we should see, I'm like this and I'm like that to judge yourself also, but be a little having compassion on yourself as a self-compassion and try to improve on the, stronger points. Yeah.
definitely. It helps us to understand ourselves. It helps us understand our spouse. It helps us understand our child. And
Yeah.
see, in that website, enneagraminstitute.com, every type, they give you the levels, 9 different levels. So you can read it and see which level you are stuck at, and then how to get to the next level.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting.
Also, what Prabhu, what you were saying, it's not just to justify. I am type 8 anyway. I have anger issues. So it's, you got to understand me. I will always be angry. Deal with that. No,
Yeah.
that purpose. We do that
Right.
sometimes. I'm this type. What can I do? I'm born like that.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, this is what I was telling to my wife also. So I am type 2, so you have to, deal with me like this only. So yeah, that's how we have to understand correctly.
Yeah, it's more like, how can I be a healthy version, and how can you be healthy? How we can
Yeah,
help the child be the healthy version of the type.
correct.
Knowledge is power, you see. Getting knowledge helps us to set the
Yeah.
goals. Okay, the challenger. I'm working on lowering my voice.
Yeah. So they are the challenger types, type 8, with the strengths of leading kids, teaching kids to stand up for themselves, making the world feel safe. And they encourages responsibility, facing challenges, accountability, pursuit of dreams. Yeah, self-assured dads.
Yeah. But they should be mindful to remember your big personality may intimidate some kids. And oh yeah, in Rajaguna, these dads can be so angry all the time. 8s naturally give out the aura of fear producing. And the
Hmm.
animal is lion. I forgot to say the animals for the other. The type 6 animal is kangaroo, and type 5 is the owl. It sits
Okay.
there on the top, watches everything, the owl. And type 6 is the kangaroo, is always security based, and it has that. And type 7 is the monkey, jumping around everywhere. And then type 8 is the lion, who's like always beware, like don't mess with me, that kind of energy 8s have.
It's
And
my way
type,
or the highway.
Sorry?
My way or the highway types.
Yes. Type 8s should not go to 5, meaning they should not argue, use information to defeat other people. That's because usually type 8s, when they're very unhealthy, they behave like a 5. Ask too many questions in a challenging way and try to use all information possible to defeat you and make you feel really insecure. They can become very narcissistic, type 8s.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a misunderstanding. People think, oh, type 8 is the best. But if you're a healthy type 8 or a healthy anything, you're best. But unhealthy type 8, Rajoguna, you don't have any friends. You burn all the bridges. You make people feel terrible about themselves. That's like, who wants to be that? So type 8 should learn to be like type 2. So it's very
Okay.
good for type 8s to live with 2s or associate, have friendship with a 2. Whenever I'm saying this type should be more like that type, means it's good for them to associate with that type. For
Yeah.
example, for a type 8, being with a type 2 will help them to develop those qualities. But remember, every type, like type 8, it's healthy for them to be like type 2, but it will always work opposite. For a type 2, it's very unhealthy to be with a type 8.
Okay.
So it's always tricky to
Yeah.
make,
Yeah.
because type 2 should not become like type 8. So being with a type 8 will make them unhealthy, stressed. So there's always a trick. 8 should be with 2s, but 2 should not be with 8s. Figure that out. Okay. In Tamoguna, as I said, they become very destructive. And then we have the type 9 dads. Who doesn't want to have a type 9 dad?
Well, kind of a relaxed dad, huh?
Yeah, the peacemaker. I sometimes tune out during conflict. They are not good with dealing with conflict.
Okay, so we'll have a peacemaker. Sorry, yeah, it's peacemaker, relaxed dad with the strengths of uh, nap time pro, goes with the flow, creates a peaceful environment. Creates a peaceful environment. Encourages creativity, peaceful conflict resolution, freedom to be humor. Okay, peaceful conflict resolution. Yeah, this I like this one.
Yeah. Radhanath Swami is this type.
Yeah, correct.
Actually, I'll tell you like the sannyasis we have and which type. Type 1, Shivram Maharaj. Type 2, Jaipatak Maharaj. Type 3, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And currently, I don't know which guru is type 3. Type 4 is Sachinandan Maharaj. Type 5 is Banu Maharaj. Type 6, as I said, like Giriraj Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Then type 7 is Bhakti Marg Maharaj. He makes all these dramas. And
Yeah.
type 8, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was an 8. Srila Prabhupada was an 8.
Mm, yeah.
My husband is an 8. So type 9, they have to be careful to create clear direction for kids, because they can be like so peaceful. We'll decide. Yeah, this is fine. That is also fine. If the wife asks, by the way, for all the wives here watching, when you ask your husband, what would you like for lunch? And there is no response. And then you ask, would you like me to make South Indian? And the husband responds, that would be fine. Or would you like me to make Chinese? That would be fine. Or would you want me to make Italian? Do you want pasta or pizza? That would be fine. And the wife just goes like, oh my God. Everything is
Give me
fine.
clear directions.
Give me clear direction.
Yeah.
So type 9 can be like, oh, let's decide when the other person comes. Oh, Chinese is fine. Italian is also fine. South Indian is also fine. So you're just like, what do you want? Come on. So type 9 should be like type 3. They need to learn to be like a little bit like a peacock. Type 9 is the elephant. The animal is the elephant.
Okay. Yeah.
It's hard to move them. They're withdrawn, they're quiet, but if they don't want to move, you cannot move them. And the planet is also Mars.
So I have a question here. This regarding this, the particular type. As you are saying, they will be, like okay with any kind of the food selection, as we discussed this example. So can it be like this? They are relaxed with one particular situation or one particular topic, and very clear in direction in some other topics or some other related topics which are of their interest, or which they are focusing on, or it is a general trend that generally they are like that. So it can be blend, right? And some topics they are completely relaxed and whatever is okay with them. In certain topics they are very focused and this is how it has to be done. Or it's again a mix of personalities.
Yeah, it can be what you're saying, but it's also the level of healthiness they are at.
Okay.
If they're a
Yeah.
very healthy type, they can give clear directions, but it usually happens over time.
Yeah.
If you have a kid, if your child is a type 9, it'll wear mostly whatever clothes you give, it'll eat whatever you give. They're not very fussy type, they're very
Yeah. Yeah.
quiet, they're very withdrawn. Maybe if you're a type 3, then your struggle is to get your kid to come on, speak up, come on, tell what you like, tell
Yeah.
us where you need to go, what would you like to do for your holidays. It'll be hard. It's like, you shake the kid and say, what do you want?
Yeah, that's correct.
But they grow, they eventually they become.
Correct. Eventually they acquire certain skills.
Yeah, like for example, I mean, when we're speaking of all our Maharajas and Sannyasis, they're on a transcendental level, but still they have natures.
Yeah.
How Radhanath Swami will react, Gopal Krishna Maharaj will not react in the same way.
Yeah.
And how Gopal Krishna Maharaj reacts, Japatak Maharaj will not react in the same way. And how Radhanath Maharaj reacts, Giriraj Maharaj will not react in the same way.
Yeah. That's
It's
correct.
personalities, right? And Radhanath Maharaj, like he's a type 9, he he has learned. Initially he will just be okay, whatever, but there are things that he can say, I want this, and I prefer this. He will gently say it.
Yeah.
I would prefer if you guys don't follow me, just leave me alone. you know or or even Radhanath Maharaj is a good example of a healthy 9, because all his life, okay, he was in New Vrindavan. We went to that place, there was this underground place. That's where he would stay, cook every single day, so much austerity. But 9s like to be withdrawn. They don't like to be in the public light. But see Radhanath Swami in the last decade,
Yeah.
he's come to become more like a 3. Means becoming assertive, speaking to the UK Parliament, giving TED Talks, writing books. That's a
Yeah.
typical 3 activity. To say, here I am, that's a 3, right? That's the nature of
Yeah.
a 3. So for a 9, it's very healthy to become like a 3.
Okay.
9 will never become 3, but they will develop some qualities
Some
of 3.
qualities. Yeah. They will acquire some qualities of three.
Yeah, because all the types have good qualities, and we all need some quality a little bit more, and some quality we already have.
Yeah. That
So it's
makes
a
sense.
very beautiful harmony and a balance of how we all have to work together. We all need each other. We need each other to inspire, learn the qualities, cooperate. We need all of the types. Like they say in a, it's like an analogy, right? There's a river and you have to cross the river. So each type, what they do, there's a whole
Okay.
thing. And type 9 is like contemplating. Should I even cross this river? And type 8, why should I cross this river? Just because everybody's crossing, let me go and build a bridge so that, people don't have to get wet. So they go get busy, build a bridge, 8s. But then they don't let anybody cross because they're standing right in the on the way. And then
Yeah.
type 7, they're thinking, oh, I want to have a butterfly stroke and I want to swim in all funny ways and adventurous ways. And, 7 is having fun. And then type
Yeah.
6 is very cautious. What kind of a dress should I wear before I get wet? I should be properly covered and I need earplugs, and everybody's thinking, right? And then the type 5 is standing very far and looking how everybody else is crossing the river. And type 4 is thinking, how will I enjoy this experience? And they are like, where can I swim when nobody else is around? They want to have their own unique experience.
Yeah.
And 3, they have the best looking clothes, and they're very like, they want to show their best strokes. They want to show to the world how good they are at swimming. And type 2 is so busy helping other people cross the river that they don't even have plan to cross themselves. And then type 1 again, they're trying to say, how much distance does it take to cross from this side to that side? And how much time does it take? Let me time it. And, they're like into perfection. So each type we have that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting analogy to contemplate on. Very nice.
Yeah. So today we discussed the Enneagram Dads. So we discussed all the 9 types. And then we have the assertive type, the compliant type, and the withdrawn types. The assertive types are the type 3, type 7, and type 8. The encouraging dad, the spontaneous dad, and the self assured dads. They are very strong types. And then we have type 1, type 2, and type 6. The visionary dad, the kind hearted dad, and the constant dad. They are the compliant type of dads. They go along with the family, they don't make too much noise as such, but they have values. And then we have the type 4, the type 5, and the type 9. They're more the withdrawn types, the creative dad, the examining dad, and the relaxed dad. So they kind of withdrawn. Usually the wives take care of everything. And each of these dads need to learn to evolve and become the healthiest version, not to deny our personality, not to hate our weaknesses, but to embrace our limitations and to grow and become the best version of the dad that Krishna wants you to be.
Yeah, that's really interesting and fun to know all these types, and we can all relate very much to these types based on the actions and based on the incidences we have in our lives. Very nice. And once we know these types, we can actually grow, as you said, and we can go on the improvement part of. I'm sure we'll be having one separate video also, that which type can go to which type and which type should not go to which type. So to learn it in a more better way, that we don't acquire the qualities of the wrong type which we are not supposed to. So
Right.
we will have a separate video, right, for that.
Yes, Prabhu. We will have a detailed thing when we will be discussing next week. Just to give you like a preview of the next week, we'll be discussing the family dynamics when the father is a particular type and the child is a particular type and the wife is a particular type. What are the challenges? What are the strengths? How to take advantage of the best energies? Like one of the parent might be the green color and the other
Yeah.
parent is a blue color. So how to take help from each other, how to learn from each other, because usually it becomes a difference. Instead of taking advantage and grow together, we start thinking, oh, I'm different, she's different, and then there's conflict. But it doesn't have to be that way. So next week we will discuss the dynamics, and while discussing the dynamics we'll go deeper into therefore what type 1 should do or what type 3 should do, who should withdraw, who should stay introverted, who should learn to take a firm decision. All these things will help us when we discuss family dynamics.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting to discuss about the family in a whole, so that we understand and we uh, cooperate with each other within inside the family to grow in Krishna consciousness together. And even as Prabhupada said, and all the devotees should cooperate to grow together. So this is the best way to understand each other in a better way, and definitely cooperate with each other to grow. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Mataji, for sharing all your wisdom. And I would be definitely joining the next session also along with my wife, so that we have a family together to understand our types and needs, and improve upon ourselves. And I request all other viewers also to please watch this video along with your families, so that you can have some homework with your book, pen and paper, and you can do some real practical stuff improvements in your lives.
And if
Thank you
anybody
very
would
much.
like to know more about your family dynamics, you can write to Baliyagya Prabhu or Sulakshana, and we will try to get you on our show and discuss and give you some tips and techniques. So you're welcome to join our program and participate.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion and a really good improvement point. Yeah, we welcome all of you to join. So if you have any suggestions, as Mataji said, please feel free to discuss and comment on the video. And all our links are in the description box, so you can follow our channel on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on YouTube. So we'll be having further more series of videos also along with Mataji.
Thank you, Baliyagya Prabhu.
Hare
It was a
Krishna. Thank you,
pleasure.
Mataji, for honoring us. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining in. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.